All right, there we go. I think I fixed all of the random nonsense. Frog fan, good to see you two. What's going on? It has been a minute. Man, rough times having kids. It's a bitch sometimes, isn't it? Ooh, cool. Sound quality in LinkedIn's pretty good. Sorry about that. Well, good to see you guys. Good to be back. One of MBA's scholarship invitation? What the hell is this? Oh, it's just some random spam. Okay. You're stupid, so can't answer that? Yeah, oh man. Me too. Have I been playing PoE2? I haven't, actually. Um, my thoughts on PoE2 are complicated. So, oh, speaking of which, before I get into anything, if anybody watching has problems with audio, I did a lot of retooling the stream, basically. So, we should be able to listen to music that I couldn't otherwise play without getting major corporations mad at me. However, YouTube should have no music, and that music should not be saved to Twitch VODs. So if the volume is all messed up, then let me know. Anyway, PoE2. I am conflicted about Path of Exile 2. It looks like it's an amazing game. It looks like a lot of fun. Everybody seems to really be enjoying it. Um, I am very concerned that it's frankly like just too labor intensive for me. Like it requires too much focus. A lot of times I'm trying to play like action RPGs because you just explode tons of monsters all over the place, and I'm sure somebody will eventually, crack PoE2 and come up with a way to do that. Like I've already seen some videos of that happening, but uh I don't know, man. The whole like, required combo, thoughtful combat at all times thing. Like I can handle that with bosses. That's cool, but the fact that you've got to like micromanage every little monster fight, I don't know, sort of a bummer. that's that's not really my jam. Uh but I will definitely play it. I think I'm just waiting for release more than anything. I want everybody to kind of get all the quality of life stuff out of the way before I hop in and get mad about something. How about you? Any experience there? I mean, like I said, I think reviews overall have been wildly positive as far as I can tell. But I have been trying to sort of like shelter myself from it. I haven't paid a whole lot of attention, but I'm just sort of I'm so deep in the Path of Exile 1 community that it's really tough to avoid. Pay some Chinese guy to get me to top 10. Dude, so I'm assuming that you've seen Elon's stream based on that. Like, what is that dude doing? Why does that guy like why is his AV setup worse than my 7-year-old $800 laptop? Like he's literally the richest person in the world. Like this mic that I'm using right here is like $100, and all I have is some free plugins to make it sound better. Like there's literally nothing to it. I mean, dude, like even just plug and play, it sounds so much better than that. Oh, speaking of which, one of the fun things about not streaming for a long time is all your settings get fucked up, and there's a bunch of you know, random updates that happen. Basically, Microsoft nukes my audio settings every time I update, it seems like. So I have to, like, reconfigure at least a few things. And that is absolutely the case this time. But yeah, seriously, like, what is the, like, grainy-ass, like, staticky audio? I mean, come on, man. Like, you get better sound out of, like, $5 Sony earbud microphones. You know, those, like, freaking things that are, like, you know, like polyester padding on your ears and just has this like little microphone that holds, goes out in front of your mouth. Like this sounds like utter trash. You literally probably the most powerful person in the world too, like richest dude. Yeah, gets online, just makes a total fool of himself. I mean, one of the nice things about autism, though, is that you don't know that you made a total fool of yourself because you can't gauge people's reactions, and, yeah. Well, how have things been for you? I feel bad. One of the downsides of having a small and tight-knit community is that I feel like I'm kind of letting everybody down by not providing them a hangout space. So whenever I've gone missing for a while, which has been most of the past 2 years, so let's be real, that it feels bad. It feels bad, man. Like I know Discord's there and stuff, but still, still sort of weird to just be like, bye guys, I'm just not gonna do this anymore. Yeah, I work hard. I'm just trying to get my shit back together, basically. I think finally, like, my daughter's like, she's had her sleep regulated pretty good for a long time. Actually, if anything, right now it's sort of deregulating a little bit, to be honest. She's starting to dream, and that's not the most fun phase, at least with my kids. My son was a nightmare. Like, nightmare because of nightmares, I guess. That's really terrible phrasing. Anyway, it's been a while since I've done this. Public speaking, not on point anymore. But she's woken up at like midnight or 1 screaming. Still deading yourself in the name of a potential career. Yeah, it's all good. How do you fix sleep? Dude, we should do a stream on sleep. That's one of the most like easily fixed things that people can do. Like the ease of fix to benefit ratio is just like astronomical. I mean, sleep hygiene, I'm a huge sleep Nazi, so this sort of thing, like, tripped a trigger there. But, so basics, go to sleep at the same time every day. Like, sleep and wake up every day. Don't listen to assholes like me on the computer, because it's really, like, stimulating. It, like, really turns your brain on. Like, phones, TV screens, computers, anything that's like input in your brain is terrible for your sleep. Like, stop that at least a half hour before you go to bed. I mean, maybe you don't need 8 hours of sleep. You might not need that. People are still on a normal curve. 6 hours is definitely on the low side, for sure. Um, you know what? I'm sure there's data on that. We are a data-driven stream here. Let's fucking look it up. Normal distribution. Human required sleep. Let's see if that brings up anything. Here we go. Midpoints. What? No, that's just okay. Here we go. Is this showing up on stream? Let me make it bigger. Boop. Adults 7 to 9 hours. Yeah, so 6, yeah, like I said, 6 is definitely on the fairly extreme end. Is reading as bad? Not as bad, but generally people, like, any sleep medicine physician will tell you that your bed is for sex and sleep, and that's it. Don't do anything else in bed, because you don't want your brain associating that with, like, increased activity before you go to sleep. You're gonna 5 hours of sleep yourself into Alzheimer's. I mean, there is something to that, though. There's like, basically decreased sleep puts you at, it's almost like obesity. It puts you at higher risk for pretty much everything. Which is real weird. But I don't know if there's a link between sleep and dementia. There is, but they aren't sure if it poor sleep or if dementia causes poor sleep. Oh, well, that's not quite what I was after. Lack of sleep may increase a person's risk of dementia, but not enough. So weak evidence that it is a risk factor. That's about it. So I mean, realistically, I don't think that's that big of a deal. But yeah, I mean, sleep is basically good for everything, though. upping physical activity. Yeah, that's good too. Like, and I think a common misconception is that physical activity is good just because it wears you out, which I mean, I guess is true. But really, just better physical fitness leads to better body rhythms, of which circadian rhythm is one, right? So all of that stuff just has better fidelity when you're healthy. Um, so yeah, physical activity is a great way to increase your sleep quality. But yeah, retraining your brain is actually not as difficult as a lot of people make it seem. It's just people don't do it. I mean, it's pretty much just like anything else. You know, so many people say, like, oh, well, I tried going to sleep at, you know, 10 p.m. for a week and I just can't do it. Like, well, dude, maybe you got to do it for like a month, okay? You know, and really, most of the time, it does not take that long to change your circadian rhythms. It probably takes about 2 weeks. So just do it. You know, like you just kind of got to get into it, and if you stick with it, it'll happen. But it's gonna be hard. You know, it's the conversion time that everybody has trouble with, and a really good analogy for that in my mind is people who have what they call rhinitis medicamentosum. That's a mouthful. Which is basically a bunch of old dudes who use Afrin, or like the alpha agonist nasal sprays, and they are basically like physiologically hooked on doing them, because what happens is they constrict those blood vessels in their nose and then they get rebound congestion. And usually the rebound congestion is worse than the baseline congestion that they were treating anyway, and so they use it again, and then this like keeps happening, and they develop this habit where they just like can't frickin' breathe if they're not snorting Afrin like multiple times a day. And the only way that that's going to go away is if they stop using Afrin. So they're going to be congested as fuck for like, you know, a long time, depending on how long they've been using the Afrin. Um, but this is the same deal. So if you're trying to like change your sleep schedule, at least that's something that you have the option of doing gradually. You know, so if you're a night owl and you're going to sleep at like 2 in the morning, but now you're in medicine and you have to wake up at 5, like clearly that's not going to work. So you can, you know, move that back by an hour. It's not like you have to go from going to sleep at 2 to going to sleep at 8. You know, you don't have to like totally flip the script. You can do that in little chunks. And that makes it much easier. And it's easier on your body too. Is there any limitations that I place on my children to help them benefit later that most parents don't think about? I'm sure the answer is yes, but I have to think of some examples. We try to we try to limit screen time as much as possible, but are pretty much unsuccessful, to be honest. Like, my kid's just gonna be a gamer, and I feel like that's just kind of the way of the world now. Like, if you go to his school, every kid has an iPad, and they do lots of their lessons on iPads. So, I don't really worry about screen time in terms of, you know, like it rotting their brain. Oh, okay, here's a good one that I'm thinking about. We strictly limit how much. So my son's 8. He just turned 8. He is a big fan of multiple Minecraft streamers, and a lot of them are just kind of, you know, it's just brain rot nonsense. They're just kind of like, whoa, like shouting into the microphone, like, oh, this thing's so cool, you know. And that's like the whole freaking stream. It's just like hours of that, and I am strictly against that. Like, we let him maybe watch 10 to 15 minutes of that a day tops, but everything else that he sees on YouTube is like, you know, instructional, or at the very least like kind of educational. Like Mark Rober, he really likes Mark Rober's channel. I'm like, shit, dude, you can watch physics videos all day long. That's fine with me. And it's like story based. You know, things that require some attention. I 100% will never let my children watch TikTok or short form videos. Ever. Ever, ever, ever. Focus and attention are very important things to me. And I like training your brain to pay attention to something for 15 to 30 seconds at a time is just fucking terrible. I will never allow that. And that's a big reason why I don't like the shoutcast streamers, is because it's just like this attention high, like constantly redirecting you and like just like hitting you in the face with some random crap every, short period of time just to keep you like looped in. But yeah. Yeah, he can watch YouTube all he wants, but we're going to watch like science stuff, we're going to watch how it's made. Yeah, that's a big one. So not screen time per se, but screen content, I think, is something that we pay a lot of attention to. Other things. My kid will never play tackle football. Ever play tackle football. He is going to be a small white dude, so the chances of him going pro in any sport at all are damn near zero. I mean, I guess they are for most people anyway, but like, that just ain't happening. Like, he's in amazing physical condition. He is ludicrously strong and like probably the strongest kid in his class. But he's just gonna be a strong dude. Like, he'll be a physically fit person who, can't do anything with that. He's still gonna get a job from his brain, not his body. And so like I went to school with multiple people who had like lifelong injuries. I mean, they like tore their freaking ACL a few times in high school football. Like, why? You're not, you're playing high school for like, or playing football for a high school that's like 400 people. You're not getting scholarship anywhere. You're definitely not going to go pro. So this is just a thing that you like, but you're going to like ruin your knee or take a concussion for nothing? Like, fuck that, man. There's no way I'm letting that happen. Some keys eating with iPads at restaurants. I have been that parent. Sometimes you just have to accept that you're not going to be able to even like get through your meal unless you distract your kid. And that's a really easy way to do it. Sometimes you just push the easy button even if it's not the best thing to do. So I don't like doing it, but I do it for sure. CTE at 16. Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, you could do golf, and he's so he's a climber. He's a really good climber. He's so strong. Like, he sometimes, like, if he's at a climbing gym and you say something to him, he'll just hold on with one hand and turn around and talk to you. Like, I can't, you hold yourself up with one hand and have a conversation with someone. He's 8 years old, dude. There's no way. There's no way that I could even consider doing that. But yeah, he could try golf. I mean, he's still, but like I said, he's probably going to be short, so he's not going to, he will be less competitive because of that, at least in terms of like, drive distance and things. But yeah, the CTE at 16, like, my pediatrician actually did me a favor because I had 3 concussions by the time I was going into high school. And he was like, no, I won't sign a release for you to play football. And I mean, good for him. That was a pretty progressive view for the, late 90s. I don't think most people would feel that way. Tried climbing and it's not fun. See, I am terrible at climbing. I am not built for it at all. I'm just kind of a, shorter, stocky dude. And like, it's going to require an outrageous amount of grip strength for me to be decent, because I just weigh too much, frankly. But that's part of why I enjoy it, though, because it's like, I'm kind of scared of heights too. So him enjoying rock climbing or bouldering and stuff has really like pushed my comfort zone pretty substantially, which is cool. And I'm definitely one of those people who, like, if I see something that's like, kind of enjoyable, it's not something that I just like abjectly hate and it's hard for me, then I'm determined to I'm like, well, that's probably good for me. Like, getting better at this thing, like, I suck at it because I need to do it more. That's sort of my mindset. And so unfortunately the climbing gym the one that we've gone to is pretty expensive and not really like user friendly in the sense that it's like just sort of difficult to make time for. But if you like, they do have unlimited memberships where we could go anytime we want. It's just like, I think it's like $200 or it's like $150 a month or something. It's just a lot of money, and I'm not sure how often we would actually do it because it's kind of far away. You know, maybe as he gets older and like can devote himself a little bit more to it, that'd be fine. Because like $150 a month for both of us to go climbing, you know, even like 4 or 5 times a month is not like horrendous. You know, it's fairly expensive, but it's not that bad. If it's something that we use routinely, I would get into it. But I'm happy to take him anytime he thinks about it. So stuff like that is going to be his strong point. He likes tennis. Might be decent at tennis. But yeah, I knew one dude that I'm thinking of tore both his ACLs, and then he retore one of them after having it surgically corrected. So like he just busted his knees, both his knees, for nothing. You know, just to like get some high school clout. Not worth it, dude. Not worth it at all. Especially since the high school I went to was very much like a, you know, like wealthy kid, you know, funnel to take over daddy's company sort of school. Like none of these kids are doing any hard labor or anything like that where they're going to have to look back on their high school days as like their peak. Like they're all going to be extremely wealthy and successful. So it's like high school football is not exactly their peak existence. Yeah, not having any injuries is a good thing. I broke my wrist when I was 9. It actually didn't end up being a big deal. It was they casted it for a while and let it heal, but I didn't have to have surgery or anything. In my hand, like, I don't have any pain or consequences from that. Actually, in a sense, it was, like, kind of a good thing long term because I can use my left hand a fair bit. Like, I wouldn't say that I'm ambidextrous, but I can do a lot of stuff left-handed. Because of the, like, I don't know, 2 months or whatever it was that I was casted. Like, I eat left-handed now. I, like, surgically tie when I'm tying knots. I tie with my left hand. And sometimes it just, like, makes more sense to do something left-handed. Like, my brain just says, hey, this is the way that makes sense. And then I realize after the fact that I'm like, oh, I'm actually doing this left-handed. This is kind of weird. And that's made particularly weird by the fact that, like, so I played a ton of soccer growing up, and my left foot is just useless now. Like, it used to be okay when I was playing soccer, but that ability is completely atrophied. But not for my hands. Game sound might be a little loud. Let's see. Maybe not. That's a lot of resistance on my existing helmet. Okay, let's move on.
That skill's not ready.
Yeah, I didn't, like, because of my experience with the broken bone, I didn't know until I got, like, deep into medicine how big of a deal breaking a bone was. Because I just sort of showed up and they put a cast on my arm, and then, you know, I get through, like, med school and stuff. I'm like, oh shit, people actually, like, have big surgeries for that. That sucks. Have I ever been a Diablo person? Oh my goodness. Yeah, I cut my teeth on Diablo 2, man. I played thousands of hours of Diablo 2. Thousands of hours. So much Diablo 2. Loved that game. Yeah, absolutely. I enjoyed Diablo 3, but it just really didn't hold my attention for very long. I stopped playing it before the expansion got released. And I made it through Diablo 4, but that's about it. Yeah, Path of Exile is 100% worth getting involved in my opinion. Even if you're not, I mean, I don't have a ton of time to devote to it either. And like the thing that I like about Path of Exile, so this is my problem with Path of Exile 2. Okay, so the first Path of Exile, like PoE 1, I feel like all the cerebral part of it is done outside of the game, right? So like you use Path of Building. This is the in case you're unaware, this is the community run like character builder. You basically can't make a character without this. It's pretty much a requirement for the game. But I can do this at work. You know, I can plan a character and like click nodes and figure shit out and see all of this like without actually playing the game. So I think that's cool because I can just sink my teeth into this, like think through a character and like ruminate on it and all of that. Path of Exile 2 seems like, I mean, you can do this for sure. Like this part of the game still exists, but you also have to be mentally on while you're playing. And in Path of Exile 1, you're just like crashing through monsters. You're exploding screens, you're doing crazy shit, you're running around, you know, teleporting all over the place. Like PoE 2, it sounds like you kind of got to be a little more tactical about it. Yeah, I mean, this is a what the fuck experience. I mean, look at this. Like, how do you know how to make heads or tails of any of this? And like, even if you just copy this skill tree, you have to know how this character works, right? So this character in particular is a charge stacker. So I stack power charges, and then I use these boots. So like, this is, oh, you can't see this. Hold on. What's my command for that? There we go. So, you just have to know this. These boots, where it says counts as having maximum number of charges, that's always the case. So you get the bonuses from those charges all the time. And you just have to know that, right? That doesn't, like, it doesn't say that anywhere. So, like, whatever your maximum number of power charges is, you act like you have that many bonuses from power charges. Then you have this amulet that says, like, your power charges are equal to your frenzy charges. And there's all sorts of different stuff that you have to know about. So if you're going to play this, you really need to use a guide and go with it. Like, follow it to a T and pay really close attention to what the person's doing. And if you're serious about getting started, there are lots of good creators who do beginner-friendly content. You know, they're not going to, like, throw together a build. I mean, because there are lots of people who are like, here's my build guide for this character that, like, realistically nobody could ever afford. It has all this ridiculous gear that is required to make it work. Like, great, dude. That's super helpful. Thanks. Like, I am actually a decent, in my opinion, I do say decent, not good, but decent place to look for beginner-friendly builds. But, like, Zizarin is a great option. Ziggy D, another good creator for beginner-friendly stuff. I'd probably go with those two. That's got plenty of that. But yeah, you don't have to play an unbelievable amount to make it fun. Like, I would say first time through, the campaign itself would take you 10 to 12 hours tops if you take your time. And then getting through maps, which is like the end game, that can take as much time as you want it to, but getting to sort of the end game probably is another 20 hours or something. So I mean, realistically, if you've got like 60 hours to sink in the game, you can get a really, really good experience. Because I'm, again, pretty casual about this, and I have plenty of time to do it. Granted, I know what I'm doing, so that certainly helps kind of move things along, but yeah, it doesn't necessarily have to suck your soul. To do some of the shit that the, like, top players do, yeah, absolutely. Like, you have to both have a huge knowledge base about the game and spend hundreds of hours to get done what they do. It's ridiculous. But the fact that you can do that is kind of cool. Yeah, so this is Grim Dawn, which if you like action RPGs, I really enjoy Grim Dawn. It's definitely a lot more plug and play, a lot more kind of user friendly. You don't have to use a build guide. I would say that for Path of Exile, you basically have to use build guide. It's not optional. Let's see. How much do I want to put points in that? Yes. Like I have never looked at a build guide for Grim Dawn, and I do just fine. Or Last Epoch. Last Epoch is another really good one. If you're wanting to just do your own thing. And both of them have quite a bit of depth. This is the sort of character customization screen. All of these different things, all the constellations. Most of them have bonuses that you can achieve, or like abilities. Like up here, it says, you know, oh shit, I need to get back to this. There we go. This looks crazy. Yeah, this part's a little complicated. But it's actually fairly straightforward. Like, so you see this has the affinity requirements. So you just need, like, this over here. Like, depending on which constellations you spec. So you have to have one blue to do this, and then once you hit, like, you get devotion points throughout the game. And once you complete this, you get 3 green and 3 blue. So then there's like first tier dude, second tier, and then I think third tier is the highest it goes. So like this is a second tier one. So it takes 6 green and 4 blue and gives you 3 blue. And then the third tier ones just take a ton and don't give you anything when you complete them, but these are like the in-game ones. And they're obviously more powerful. So you kind of pick stuff that, like my character is all lightning damage, so I picked one that has lots of lightning damage. I mean, it's not that hard. Like, it looks really confusing because there's a bunch of shit going on here, but it's just sort of a small puzzle to put together. It's nothing like this. It's nothing like that. But yeah, and even if you screw that up, like, respecking is really easy. And the skill tree is pretty straightforward. These are all the skills. Like, you can choose 8 jobs, maybe? Or 8 different classes. You could pick 2 of them. And you just pick 2 that kind of go together. Let's see, do I want to start putting points in this? Probably. Yeah, let's do that. Turn master volume down just a little bit. That's maybe a little better. But yeah, I'm an action RPG junkie, so I can definitely give you decent recs for stuff, if you so choose. Path of Exile is like gaming mastery. It's a ridiculously complicated game. I mean, intentionally so, but that is not for everyone, and I 100% understand that. So cool developments. I meant to lead with this. part of my daughter's you know, developmental stage thing. She is learning when she poops and pees. So she's like kind of approaching readiness for potty training, which is good. But now she's like, oh, I pooped, and like sticks her hand in her diaper and digs out the poop, and so she just like has poop all over her hand. That is not my favorite. It's not my favorite at all. And she's done that like 4 or 5 times this week. I've been on vacation, so I, you know, get to wrangle that every time. That's really cool. A good Necromancer or Berserker? Yeah, so I think they're, I think Berserker is like an upcoming... Supposedly there's an expansion coming for Grim Dawn at some point in the near future. Like within the next couple months. And I think Berserker is a class that they're adding. Right now, the warrior classes are more, like paladin-ish, I guess you could say. Here, I'll show you. I'll actually show you a character planner in just a second here. Ooh, what did I just pick up? I have no idea. Dawnbreaker's Duty. Cool. We'll keep that. That was pretty good. Alright. So, let's see. Grim Dawn. I've got a bunch of, like, random Grim Dawn windows open. Okay. I guess I'm just gonna have to do it. Grim Tools. Am I mage junkie? I kind of am, actually. Yeah. Not, like, intentionally. It just sort of happens. Like, oh, those are cool. Yeah, so the Berserker's in beta. And doesn't really exist in the game. So Oathkeeper is sort of like the fire version of warrior. There's sort of like angry, revenge, elemental warrior guy. And then the other one is soldier, which is just straight up like physical attack stuff. Yeah, but there's nobody. Nightblade is sort of like assassin, kind of finesse, sword wielding dude. And some sort of like shadowy, you know, teleportation blade skills and stuff like that. But yeah, there's nobody that's just like straight up barbarian, like go fucking nuts, attack really fast, you know, carry giant axe thing like this dude is pictured. But so that will be a welcome archetype change, because I feel like some of these are kind of close, like shaman and necromancer and occultist are kind of, yeah, you know, they sort of like step on each other's toes a fair bit thematically. And honestly, Inquisitor and Arcanist do a fair bit as well, even though the Inquisitor is more focused on like, I mean, as the picture suggests, like ranged weaponry, elemental ranged weaponry. But as far as like elemental attacks and stuff, both of those are pretty similar. Some of that's kind of necessary for gameplay, because you do have to choose 2 classes, so you want 2 classes that sort of complement each other. Like, I chose Demolitionist to go with Arcanist because it's got a lot of lightning buffs and things that can be converted to lightning. So it worked out well. And similarly, like the Necro and the Occultist both have like vitality damage things. I thought about doing Shaman, actually. Shaman has a lot of lightning stuff with the Arcanist. So, I don't know. But it's more, the Shaman's more like 2-handed weapon focused, which is sort of an interesting choice. It's like 2-handed weapons and summons. So this is your pet dude. So I guess if you were gonna do pets, you'd do Necro and Shaman. Yeah, you make some pretty interesting combinations. But yeah, this is the Necromancer stuff. So he's got, like, Ravenous Earth is like a poison thing, like the earth bubbles up with... Demolitionist is pretty cool. I have a Demolitionist that's, like, dual pistol guy. I think it's Demolitionist and, Inquisitor, but it's only, like, nominally Inquisitor. There's, like, a couple buffs that I get, and it's, like, all Demolitionist otherwise. So this is just sort of like a cold and piercing damage spell. This is a pretty cool spell, actually. Drain Essence I have never used, but that seems very Necromancer-ish. Siphon Souls, and I think they have, like, skeletons, too. Yeah, Blight Fiend and Spectral Binding is a skeletons, yeah. Yeah, so they have pets, also. And as for Shaman... I think they have, like, vines and some sort of beast. Briarthorn. Yeah, like a woodsy beast, and that's a healing spell. Wind Devil. Oh, yeah, I forgot they have, like, an invincible tornado that they can summon. That's actually pretty cool. Demolitionist. Demolitionist is cool. So I'm using Demolitionist on my current character for this ability, which buffs lightning damage. It's just a passive thing that buffs your damage. And this, which is some protection, some defense. And I have those. Oh, so I should have mentioned, when you're in the devotions, and you get an ability, so like this, for instance, it says 100% chance on critical attack. That only applies, you have to bind this to a skill, and so that only applies for the skill that you're using. So if you have a whole bunch of skills, oh shit, or a whole bunch of, like, abilities from your devotion, you kind of need to pick up extra skills to actually be able to use them, and that's exactly what I've done. So, in the Demolitionist... Jesus, I'm terrible at this. There we go. So, in the Demolitionist, I picked up the Mortar Trap and the Grenade, just so I could, like, basically proc those abilities. But they also happen to synergize really well with my build, so that's nice. You can't tell if you like that or you hate it. For most characters, it's actually a good thing. Like, I have kind of gone out of my way to make this a one-button build as much as possible. So for most characters, you're going to be spamming multiple abilities. So this is why I'm kind of conflicted on PoE 2, because I do really enjoy Grim Dawn, which involves a fair amount of skill piano most of the time. But it doesn't, like, the combat isn't necessarily as tactical. Like, you don't have to dodge crap quite as much. And you can just run into, you know, packs or, like, blow packs up from range. So it's sort of... It is definitely a slower-paced action RPG, but it's not as slow as Path of Exile 2 looks. So the skill binding thing from Devotions is not that big of a deal. And if you have a defensive skill, it just binds to one of these passive skills and just goes off anytime. Like this one. So Giant's Blood, 15% chance when hit. The defensive skills are just always on, so you don't have to worry about that. It really only applies to offensive things. I don't even remember what that is. Devastation. Cool. But yeah, it's a good game. And it's single player. There's no, like, trading or anything to worry about. Okay, already went in there. Can't tell if you like it. Yeah, it's you know, plus or minus. But yeah, like I said, most characters are going to be using lots of different skills, so it's not the biggest problem. And I pretty much only have that mortar just to proc a skill. The grenade actually works really well. So I have two skills that normally do fire and ether damage, but I have this, which converts... I don't know if you can see this on stream. Writing's so small. But anyway, on Devastation, which is this, just like the meteor thing, it converts everything to lightning damage. But you may notice there that it also converts, or does extra lightning damage to Grenado. Electrocute damage is like lightning damage over time. And there's this little node here on Grenado that lets you convert physical damage, which it normally does, to lightning damage. So now all I really have to do is buff lightning damage. Oh, but I also have this, which converts Kalidor's Tempest, which is that. That's my main attack. To lightning, and adds lightning damage to Grenado. Or crit damage to Grenado, which is awesome. So those things synergize super well, and that was like a total coincidence. I was planning on doing a fire version, because there's another thing similar to this that converts everything to fire for both of those skills. So I just kind of like found that out as I was playing the character. I was like, holy shit, actually this is going to work really well. Because for most characters, you have to buff multiple types of damage. But not this guy. He does have like some other like courtesy of all of this stuff. Does have a little bit of other types of damage. Like I think this deals... Yeah, this deals ether damage. I think this deals physical, maybe? Does it? No, maybe it's not that. Is it this? Oh, that deals fire. What about that? That's all lightning. Okay. Yeah, so I do a little bit of fire and a little bit of ether damage, but not something that I'm really caught up on. What is that? Two-handed ranged. That seems pretty cool. Arcanist and Nightblade. Oh shit, that's a fierce belt. Especially compared to what I have. Oh god. Okay, well I guess I'm picking that up and just using it immediately. Or not, because it requires level 82. Great, that's cool. One hand ranged. Nope. Yeah, I'm still working out. This bothers me. I'm very much working out the kinks of the stream, and I want to figure out a way. So this is what this looks like. There's infinite knees. Oh my god, I'm so small. You're doing great. You're doing great, sweetie. So I had to go back and refresh my stream keys for both of these, for YouTube and LinkedIn. I'm not sure if I'm going to have to do that every time. I sure hope not. But the problem is this stuff over here, like right over here, did not automatically translate, like the title of the stream, the fact that I was playing Grim Dawn, none of that translated over to the other things. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Thank God for wireless headphones. Nice. Yeah, one of my partners has shocks. Are they called shocks? The like bone conducting headphones. And they're wireless as well. They are so cool. So you can like have conversations with people. Yeah, shocks. It is the weirdest thing if you've never played it. If you've never worn it. It sounds like normal headphones, but you can like hear everything that's going on around you as normal. which could be good or bad depending on your environment. But like if you're jogging or something, I think he got him for jogging. See, he don't even do that. Uh, his just like they literally just like loop over your ear, and the only reason that they do that is so they stay on. Yeah, I think this is what he has. Got some new Hokas. Dude, seems like everybody I know has Hokas. Yeah, so this thing, it mounts on your what is that? Your styloid process? Whatever it is. Like the little bone right in front of your ear, like this part, and just I mean, it sounds exactly like headphones. Freaking crazy. I am not a runner, so I can't really relate. My body was not built for distance or endurance. So power, sure. Length of duration, no. Not so much. Oh shit, I forgot to refresh. There's another problem. Damn it. Chat should be showing up in this. Let's see. Fucking A, man. Okay. I have a problem to solve. Oh, what is that called? Caster Labs. Oh, what the? Damn it. Caster Labs caffeinated. I have this on my computer. Please open it. There. Boop. Stupid chat. Yeah, I mentioned earlier that things that are hard for me, I try to do because I feel like it's probably good for me. Running is not one of those things. I have tried. I've tried to run, and even just like cardio sort of crushes my soul. Like running, I just cannot do it, dude. Running is definitely a terrible thing. Yeah, it's just so hard for me, man. I wear out. I am very bad at it. Like I do some cardio to like warm up for workouts, and I can row actually. I got pretty decent at rowing. Um like I could row 5,000 meters in 20 minutes, which is, I'm not like breaking any world records or anything, but I feel like that's pretty decent for just casual Andy like myself. Elliptical and stuff. My knees sort of suck, so I try to unload myself wherever I can. That's part of the problem. Is like even in high school when I was playing soccer like routinely, my knees would just be shot by the end of the season. Like I felt like I had arthritis, which I probably did. Caster Labs. This is school as a row team. I'm not pro enough. I am not pro enough to be on a team. That is one thing that I'm like, I suck ass at this, but I need to be better. And I did. Like, now I'm sure that that ability is gone. This is like 2 years ago when I was actually exercising routinely. Now I think I would probably die if I tried to do that. Like, literally fucking heart explode in the gym. As I'm trying to row at a 2 minute pace. The hell is this? Why is it still on that? Seeing the title's all messed up? Let's refresh it. Connect stream software to go live. Well, sir, I believe it is connected. There we go. Hello. Hi, YouTube. Let's see what the delay is. Wow, pretty good, huh? Man, that's like 10 seconds. Jesus. Okay, well, I think it's safe to say that I have no idea what's going on there. Caster Labs. Caster Labs caffeinated. Why was that so hard to find? So I have good internet in my state. I have excellent internet, in fact. We have Google Fiber here. So, pretty much the best you can have, realistically. Yeah, it's been around for a while. Kansas City was, I think, other than Palo Alto, Kansas City was the first major city to have it, actually. I remember our mayor did some sort of like weird um fuckery to make that push that contract through. It had something to do with like we had existing fiber optic like lines or something. And so like laying the infrastructure was apparently very easy. I don't remember the details about it, but I mean obviously like Google knows something that I don't or they wouldn't have done it. But yeah, we've had Google Fiber for a long time. It's been super nice. It is sort of like oddly unreliable though. Like I found that it will momentarily drop like fairly often. I mean maybe like once or twice a day. It just like your connection just stops. And like most of the time that's imperceptible. Like if you're watching live TV, it's no big deal, but if you're live streaming for instance or like streaming a movie or something, which is pretty much all my family does is use streaming services, then like you've got to get like back into your program and restart what you were watching, which isn't like a huge deal, but it does sort of suck. I don't do the phone plans. We used to have a Google phone, but not anymore. It was fine. I mean, we never used it. It was we literally had the phone because my parents refused to get cell phones. so so we had a phone from Google in our house, like a landline, just because of that. And we were finally like, yeah, we're just sort of tired of paying for that, so we're not going to do this anymore. Uh, sure. Why am I installing this? Yes, I do want to cancel that. Do I use voice meter? So I used to use voice meter, but since OBS updated to well here I'll